Evans, would you please have a station presentation?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call on Ms. Netta Betts, our Deputy County Manager, to read our safety instructions.
To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the two exterior doors, one to your right and the other behind you. Once you exit the building, please safely cross Bramble Street to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will help provide direction and assistance. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room and gather in the hallway where we will remain until it is safe to exit. In the event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, please find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors if you can. As a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight it. Our staff will provide additional assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
Go behind, Harold, please.
Father, thank you for celebrating the freedom of Britain, but we also thank you for the freedom to serve. Help us now to serve those that we share together, and may the things we do and say be pleasing in thy sight. Through Christ our Lord, we do pray. Amen. Amen.
We have any agenda package minutes of the previous week. No additions of direction, is there a motion?
So moved.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Here are none, minutes are approved. Schedule appointment, Ms. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to invite Ms. LaChapelle to come to the podium to give the COVID-19 update.
Good evening. Good evening. As of July the 22nd, reported to me by the DHHS, Edgecombe County has had 5,704 cases of COVID-19. We're seeing a decrease. Last week, I think all week we had about 3 or 4 cases. So that was, it was back up today, but last week we didn't have as many. We're still providing testing over at Optima Serve, which is at Heritage Park in Princeville, and behind the Town Hall in Pine Tops. You can still also receive tests at Freedom Hill in Princeville and the Vita Multi-Specialty Clinic here in Carver and the OIC in Rocky Mount. Since the last time I had this report, the last time I updated my sheet, which was June the 19th, and today's comes from July 2nd, we've had 22 new cases. The biggest increase was the 25 to 49 age group with 2,095. More women have had COVID than men, and more whites have had COVID than any other group. One number I think that is important, we haven't had any new hospitalizations in that month period that we had that. We have another big number that is really important, is we haven't had any more deaths, so we're still at 118 deaths in Edgecombe County. We've still given about 15,500 vaccine in Edgecombe County. Edgecombe County has had 36,171 people who've had first and second doses. For the first dose, that's an increase from to 36%. That's an increase of 2% from the last time that I gave you a report. And in fully vaccinated, it's an increase of 4%. I'm really glad to know that. We also, the health department now have Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and we've been going out and starting to do more outside the agency. We went last week to the jail and provided, or the detention center, and provided vaccine over there. Last meeting, Ms. Harris asked the question about our billing, and I have a report today. And as of last Friday, we received $182,505. We have about 90 of what we have already, about $91,000 to bill or to receive back, and that's will be a total of around $272,500. And no one, one person got denied service because of inability to pay. Vaccine was not charged for. This is for only the admin fee that we have, and that was in different increments of how much we received. We, still the same places that I've been made aware of are given the vaccine, which is Freedom Hill, us, OIC, Pine Tops Pharmacy, Rural Health Group, Vital Multi-Specialty Clinic, Thorn Drugs, Farm Drugs, Walmart and Walgreens is also giving it. We still have the 2 individuals from DHHS assisting us with with our billing, which has helped us tremendously and it's at no cost to us. And tonight I brought Sergeant Coffey with me to, he's been placed here in Edgecombe County to help us get more out in the community and do pop-up clinics so that we can really get into the high-risk areas and hopefully be able to give some more vaccine out in the high-risk areas. So if any of you have anybody a church or anybody that wants us to go host a clinic outside their church, it doesn't have to be on a Sunday, it doesn't have to be on a Saturday, it can be in an evening, in the daytime, they would like for us to do it. But I'd like for Sergeant Coffey to speak a few minutes on what he has got geared up. And he's...
Did you say 36,171 people have been vaccinated who live in Edgecombe County?
That's what I had from what I got. I have to check, but maybe not myself.
No, I just want to make sure, because the number reported in the report is just what the health department has administered.
Yeah.
This is the total number of residents of Edgecombe County who have
Yes.
received,
Yes.
which we're only 53,000 people in this, and still, if you're under 12, you cannot get it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So if there's under 12, it's 10% or 7%. I mean, we're saying that 36,000 out of 47,000 are vaccinated.
The state is telling us we have 34% of our population totally vaccinated.
But how is that? The
I
math
think
doesn't matter.
I think that's actually the number of vaccines that have been given. So if you've been vaccinated, you've got.
Yeah, that's first and second doses. That's,
This is
yeah.
sum of 2 doses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to
But hopefully.
If it gets straight, are we still conflicted on that?
Sir?
Are we straight, or are we still conflicted in terms of numbers?
We're not conflicting. That's the number of doses administered, and a lot of which is 2, but some of the vaccine is a single dose.
Yes.
So what we don't know,
So-
or you're not reporting, I mean, I haven't asked, is how many of each vaccine. I'm trying to get to a real number of how many people in Edgecombe County have been vaccinated.
It's not that I've ignored your number, I just haven't been able to find that.
No.
But what I've got here, I do have here, I just didn't say it tonight. I have first-time doses, which is 36% of the population, that is given is 18,786, and second doses, which would be Moderna and Pfizer, is 17,386. That's where I got the total of 36,000.
And that's the total, not only what you've administered,
Yes.
but total of residents living in the county, whether they went to Martin County or
Yes.
Nash or wherever.
And we've given 15,500.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that. That was misleading. But if you're, I think we're doing good, and hopefully, Sergeant Coffey is going to help us make a big difference in the county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He was going to talk about what he was doing.
So how's everybody doing? I'm not much of a podium person. I'm a loudspeaker. I have a background in law enforcement.
If you don't mind, sir, so we're sending in by Zoom, so folks listening.
They need to hear your microphone so that.
Thank you, sir.
So if I speak too loud or whatever, if it echoes, someone let me know. So my background is in law enforcement. I was an MP, deputy sheriff. Now I'm an inactive deputy sheriff because I've been on order so long. Take care of food bank things. Now the COVID-19 shots, help administer and oversee these sites logistically wise. So I've been at a lot of different counties throughout the state, overseeing some operations throughout the state. Some have been very successful and some of them not. So, and the ones who have not, it's no fault of themselves, it's just that the community outreach has not been there. A lot of people just don't read, they don't listen to the radio, they don't read the brochures, they don't read mail outs, whatever. So in order for me and the people who I answer to in Raleigh, the tag, the adjutant general, the governor, all those folks, I came here with a few people to get out more. Daytime, mornings, evenings, whenever it is, to see what areas people who are in more areas than most. So we don't just go door to door, knock on somebody's door, or whatever like that. We see a huge crowd, whatever. Sometimes they'll respond better to me or differently to me than they would some of you. You know, the civilians. I put some of my guys and gals and just, you know, civvies, walk around, get no response at all. We go around in uniform, they come to us. Hey, thank you for what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. What are y'all doing here? So we tell them, we're here to support Edgecombe County and try to get your shots up. You know, and try to educate them however we can. We learn a lot of the shot process. I'm not a medic, but we learn a lot about how this process works. So we can only give people situations and instances based on us. The shots, every personnel in the National Guard, you see hanging out with me or whatever, they've received one of those 3 shots, either the Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, or Moderna. So we're no robots. We're still walking around. There's no issues with us. We're still doing our job every day. So our goal is to be out in the community as much as possible and promote this, the COVID thing. To try to do vaccines, I promote people getting them, whether it is in a detention center, whether it is in the college, where it is in church, or a playground, or wherever it is, the people hanging out, if they want us to come to them, we'll come to them, whether it's inside or outside. And our goal is to get out and be seen. That's what we're here for. We want people to get vaccinated. You know, the government wants it. My generals want it. I want it. The more people get vaccinated, the more we can do things. The more open doors we can do. You need to get away from the mask and go back to a normal sort of a life, per se. That's what we have. That's the reason I'm here. Any questions?
Any questions of Sergeant Goff?
Sure.
With that in mind, would you say 100% of the U.S. Army is vaccinated?
No. Don't have an answer. Now, I know for the National Guard, 100% of us are not. But the ones who are not working with us, they're not allowed to be on these orders. They can't promote something they can't do themselves.
So that's what people are gonna ask.
Yes, and we get it every day. I get answer every single day.
Any other questions of Sergeant Goff? If not, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your presence here.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on, Professor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I did want to mention, in addition to the updates you just received, as you'll recall, last month I mentioned that our plan was, you know, as the state, the governor had lifted the mask mandate for most places, some still required. We maintain ours here in our facilities, and I reported last month that starting this month, we're going to change that to recommended for those who are not vaccinated. So we'll be changing over our signs in the next couple of days. Just wanted you all to be aware of that.
So that means you're gonna take people coming into the building can decide to wear a mask or not wear a mask.
That'd be correct, yes.
That worries me. Put staff at risk.
And, you know, certainly this board feels differently about that.
I think we'll follow the DHS, what they put out, and we'll follow it, probably what our health director would recommend, is that correct?
She hasn't specifically recommended that.
So we'll follow the DHS guidelines.
Like I mentioned, the governor lifted the mandate, I guess now a couple of months ago. For most places, still required in some settings, nursing homes, school facilities, a couple of other places I can't recall right now.
And our staff can continue, our staff will continue with their vaccine, and if they're vaccinated, they have those options. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, sir.
I am
Vaccinated or not vaccinated, you're giving them the option.
The plan is to make it recommended for those who are not vaccinated, yes, ma'am. So we won't be policing those who are not wearing it and asking them if they've been vaccinated or not.
Yeah, that was my question. How do you're going to make that mandate about vaccinated and unvaccinated? How do you know who's not vaccinated, and how can you legally approach a person?
Oh, I won't. That's why that's why it would be recommended.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, because otherwise I would not know.
I think it's up to them, in the system, the steps that will read the sign, they will determine whether they're vaccinated. They will make that determination. It's not that we're going to ask for a vaccination card, okay? it's up to us individually to make that decision in terms of what risk we will put ourselves at. Okay, our staff will be, have the options of wearing their masks, they can or they cannot. I can support doing that. Is there any objections from this board?
Well, it worries me because some of your offices, your folks are in close proximity to another. Okay? And this is my risk management hat. I worry that someone that's not vaccinated ends up getting another staff person ill. Okay? There's going to be a problem. It's going to cause confusion in your office because certain ones know that certain ones are not vaccinated, and now they don't have to wear a mask, which means they're putting me in danger and my family in danger. So you're just going to have to really, well, you're going to call it police, but you're going to really have to check your department because I would have for hard feelings. I know several of my folks are not vaccinated. They come to work closely with me every day.
Well, just practically speaking, we would either require, continue to require everybody, or make it optional and recommended. There would be really no practical way that if we say we make it recommended, that I can say in this office you got to wear it, this one that you don't. It's just no way that I can possibly do that.
I agree with what you're doing. It's time to drop the mask. It should be personal responsibility. If somebody's worried about catching the virus, they need to go get vaccinated. Take the mask off. It's time. The rest of the world has.
Vaccinated, you can still get it.
Yeah.
That's a risk that we take care of. That's a risk that we take care of in terms of where we go and the things that we do. And so I can support the man, I can support that. Is there anybody that's unwilling to support? Is there consensus that we move ahead with what the manager is in terms of the board? I hear some concerns, I hear some objections. Let's move forward with that.
I guess where I'll leave it is I would ask you to, be open to, we're monitoring our numbers, as you heard Ms. LaChapelle talk about, our number of positive cases and the other key indicators have been going down, as it has been everywhere. So this thing could take a turn around. If it does, I would like.
I think if it does, and I would say we leave that discretion in terms of back to the mask to you. We don't objection for that. That's within your hands. If you decide tomorrow, there's some conjunctions, that we need to do that and make that decision.
Yes, sir.
Can I get that from, I get no objection. Let's move forward.
All right.
Moving on, anything that's related to it?
No, sir, that's it.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to invite Ms. Tabitha Sullivan, who is our Chief Information Officer, up to present. She's going to share with you our updated website. About 5 years ago, we did a total overhaul of our website. Basically, had not been touched in many years. When we did that contract included an update to that in 5 years. So that's what we have done. And so Tabitha is going to share with you our new update.
Good evening. The content on the back end of the website is still the same. We pretty much gave it a facelift. We are still in the process of updating the content on the back end as well. So when you initially come to the website, you'll see this image right here. This is a still image, but we are in the process of replacing this image with a video. Mr. Preston Lynn in our maintenance department went out in the county with a drone and got some really good video footage and put a video together for us. So we're going to replace the still image with that video in the upcoming week or so. So when you come to the website, it will be a little bit more interactive. So just taking a look at the home page, it looks completely different. Now you have quick link buttons that take you to specific areas of the website. And what we did was we looked at those areas that people went to the most, and we added buttons to the home page so that people can get to those areas. When you scroll down a little bit further, we now have a news and an events page. Right now, you only see 2 items up there, but if you click on see more news, it'll show you all of the past news activity that has taken place on the website. And something new that we have on the website that we had before, it just didn't function like it was supposed to, is a calendar. So we only have one activity right now, but as more departments begin to have things going on within the department, and as things are going on in the community that pertain to our constituents and our customers, then we'll be able to put those items on this calendar and it will show on the homepage. There's also a feature that it will be released in the next couple of weeks where community constituents, people in the community can sign up and receive alerts. So anytime that an item is added to the calendar, then they will receive an alert on their phone that will let them know, give them all the information about it. So right now we have on July 11th, we have the first responder and superhero night at the ballpark. It gives you all the information related to the event. It even shows you a map, just in case you don't know where it is, and you just click on the map and it will actually take you to it. When you scroll down a little bit further, it is important for the community to be reminded of who our county leadership is. So first we have the county manager's corners, information from Mr. Evans, and then if you scroll down a little bit further, it says meet the board of commissioners. When you click on either one of these learn more buttons, it takes you to the page, and I'm just going to use the county commissioners at this point. It shows the message from our chairman, and it also has information over to the left-hand side. This is new as well. We are starting to put all the links that are important to the community over to the left, and then I'm going to show you a new feature in just a second. But first I want to go down to the agenda and minutes. In the past, the agendas and the minutes were just a long list of items on the page. Now we have them categorized by the year. So instead of you having to scroll down the entire page to find the minutes you're looking for 2021, you can just go to July, and there's the file. So you don't have to do a whole lot of scrolling. We're going to be introducing this feature across the website. We have some departments that have tons and tons of files, and we're going to categorize those and kind of simplify it for the community as well. One other thing that I wanted to show you all is, this is the HR page. So if you notice on the right-hand side of the page, you see the contact us information. In the past, people had to either go to the bottom left-hand corner or read through all the content on the page to find out who was in charge of their department or their office and get contact information. Now, each landing page for every department has their contact information over to the right-hand side of the page to make it consistent so that people know that this is where I need to go for every page. And this is our new mega menu. Before, you had tons of links on the mega menu. We simplified it. So what you pretty much do, you can click on the word department. It will show you all the list of departments on the website, give you a small description of each office or each department, and then we're going to go to the finance department. As you can see, the contact information for Ms. Catherine Waters is over to the right-hand side. It shows the finance department, the objectives, and it shows all the information that's pertinent to the finance department. And once again, we've categorized the budget ordinances, the messages, and the financial statements for the finance department, and so that you don't have to go through and scroll through all of them. Now, under residents, we've already taken care of that for the commissioners. We've already taken care of the finance department. Okay, let's go back to human resources. Under human resources, we have current openings. Before, they were just links on a page and you had to download the document. Now, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, say someone is interested in applying for the assistant finance director position, the entire description, along with a detailed job description is included in the content itself. Then you can actually apply for the position from within the job application. The cool thing about this job application is 2 years ago, the county invested in this application called Laserfish. So what we have an administrator in the IT department, and she took the paper application that the county has and built this application from scratch. so that it actually goes through an interactive communication between the applicant and whatever department they are applying for here at the county. And at the end, all of this information along with any documents that they uploaded dumps into Laserfish. It is HIPAA compliant and it's safe and secure, and you can refer back to it at any point in time. Each application has different tab where you can select the job that you want to apply for, and as soon as you apply for the job, it gives a notification to HR and the department head and lets them know that somebody had applied for the job that you have posted. So we've been able to do a lot of things, not only with the website, but with some of the tools that you have provided for the county. Right now, that's all that we have going on. Like I said, it's a work in progress. It is a living, breathing website. And the more information that we get from the community and from the departments, the more that we'll be able to keep it updated and have good and relevant content for the community. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We don't public petitions, Mr.
We did not have anyone to sign up in advance. I do have a public comment that was submitted through our public comments email, and it's from Cheryl D. Bynum. She said, "Good morning or afternoon, whichever the case may be. May I take this opportunity to thank our Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners. Thank you. We appreciate all that you do for Edgecombe County. Sincerely, Cheryl." And Cheryl is an employee in our Department of Social Services.
Thank you for those comments. All the business consideration approval of budget amendments.
Just to double check, Mr. Williams, I'm not sure if you have anybody.
Is there anybody here for public petition? Thank you. Is anybody here like to speak at this time for public petition? Hearing none, move on.
Thank you, sir. You'll see we have just two budget amendments in your packet. These are, though fairly early budget amendments in the fiscal year, are fairly routine budget amendments, both from the health department. You'll see just some changes within line items there. Happy to answer the question.
Motion to approve. Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they all approved. Next, Mr.
Item B, this is regarding the location of our meetings. As you know, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, you previously amended your meeting schedule to move the location to this auditorium. At your last meeting, you expressed that you would like to return the meetings to the Commissioner Felton room on the second floor. Therefore, presented for your consideration is the attached resolution to revise the meeting location for the remainder of 2021. I recommend that you approve the resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they approved. Next, Mr.
Item C regarding the opioid settlement memorandum of agreement. A settlement is close to being reached regarding the ongoing opioid litigation. The National Association of Counties, along with the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, have been instrumental in helping to craft a settlement agreement that will include funding provided directly to counties. These funds can be used for a number of opioid remediation activities. The attached MOA will enable the state and its counties to maximize these resources in abating this crisis. Just FYI, this MOA was crafted by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners and reviewed by our attorney. I recommend that you approve the attached resolution as presented.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they approved. Next.
Item D, we received an offer to purchase a permanent easement from CenturyLink. They had previously been leasing an easement from the county. The easement will allow them to access and maintain equipment located on property the county owns at the northwest corner of what was formerly Mid Lakes Mobile Home Park. The offer is $10,000. You'll see in your agenda packet, I do have a copy of the map just to show you where it is. And it's your typical type of phone equipment you'll see along the side of the road. This easement will not impede or disrupt any activity or use of the county's property. Therefore, I recommend that you approve the easement agreement as presented.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Item E, this is a lease agreement with the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. The county provides space for staff with the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Division of Juvenile Justice at the Rocky Mountain Judicial Center. This no-cost lease agreement is due to be renewed. Therefore, I recommend that you approve the attached lease agreement as presented and authorize me to execute the same.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved.
Item F, Sheriff Atkinson is recommending that one of his vans, which he no longer uses, be declared surplus and donated to Michael's Angels Girls Club. This is a 1999 model 15-passenger Ford van. It has 163,000 miles on it. North Carolina General Statute allows the county to convey property to an entity that carries out a public purpose. If you do so, a public notice is required after a resolution is passed, and the sale cannot be completed until 10 days after the notice. Considering the benefit that this will provide to our citizens through programs offered by Michael's Angels Girls Club, I recommend that you provide the attached approve the attached resolution, which will authorize the sale of this van for $1 to Michael's Angels Girls Club. I just want to make you aware, if you notice there's a difference in the resolution. They have actually officially changed the name of their organization to Michael's Angels Club. And I think they're doing it because they're not just serving girls now, so.
So moved.
So the motion is
To approve the resolution.
is our motion second?
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next is appointments. And the first appointment is Rock Mount Wilson High School Board, Mr. Carl Brown, is recommended for reappointment. Is there a motion?
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none. He is reappointed. Edgecombe Community College Board of Trustees, Reverend Jerry Brewer is recommended for reappointment, and I see Dr. McCollum here to support that. Is there a motion to reappoint Reverend Brewer?
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, he is reappointed. Our Edgecombe Arts Commission, Mr. Robert Casanova and Ms. Christine Hearn are recommended for appointment. These are new appointments, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion for that?
Second.
Question? All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, they are appointed. Human Services Board, Mr. Myla Anderson at large, Ms. Charles Honesty at large, and Ms. Addie Carmen from Human Advocate are recommended for appointment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Question? All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, they are appointed. We have in our planning board attachment, in action items,
No, sir, no action is required.
just for our information.
I do want to point out, Mr. Chairman, if I could, you'll notice in the minutes that they did have a text amendment regarding racetracks that was brought before their board. They tabled it, but I just want you to be aware at some point that may be coming back to
Good
the
enough, good enough. After this time, release for general approval, anything to be brought to our attention?
No, sir, I have answered questions that you might have.
Motion for approval?
So moved.
Second. Second? Question? All in favor, let me know by the vote sign aye. All opposed, hearing none. It is approved. Departmental reports for review, board certified summit, anything in given evidence to be brought out.
Only the
Elections law.
Elections information, yes, sir. And just to acknowledge Mr. Jerry Sproul, our elections director, is here. If you have any questions, he might be able to answer. But I'm sure you've probably heard that some law has come down that's going to push back elections for some of our municipalities back to March of next year. So, of course, all of this is waiting on census numbers to come down. Also, just want to remind you, and something we'll need to bring back before you as well, once we receive that information from the Census Bureau, we will have to go through the process of looking at commissioners' districts.
Redistricting.
Yes, sir. And so we'll bring that information back to you. Right now, they're telling us they're expecting this information to come out in September. I believe that's right, Mr. Peters. The census information. And I think the redistricting will be due in November.
Yes, sir.
Right.
You got any comments you need to make, Rose?
No, I just want, first of all, I'd like to thank y'all for all that y'all do for Edgecombe County and for the citizens and employees. Y'all been very generous and kind to us, and I want to thank y'all. In reference to what Mr. Eric Evans has just said, the redistricting is going to have to take place. And there are 3 municipalities in Edgecombe County that has the possibility of putting off their election. Rocky Mount has no choice because the mayor is not running. Tarboro mayor is up for election, and Princeville mayor is up for election. And if they so desire to allow their mayor to run, then that's the only position that can run in the November election.
That's up to their board.
Sir?
That would be up to their board.
That would be up to their board, yes, sir. They have to have that information back to my office by the 19th of this month. And our filing is already going on for the remaining municipalities that are going to be elected in November the 2nd. We have 5 municipalities in Edgecombe that will still be operating in November. That would be Macclesfield, Pine Tops, Canida, Whitakers, and Sharpsburg. So in reference to that, the only other thing that I'd like to say is that when we do have the redistricting, it's going to require a resolution from your board to get that information. And then once you make that resolution, then the process will be in place.
Any questions for Mr. Prue? Rose Prue? Thank you, Rose Prue.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Manager's report. Ms. Evans.
Item B under the manager's report is regarding the, it's called NC Retirement Benefits Cap. And so we received information and not only wanted to, but required to make you aware of this, that the General Assembly, and this was back in 2014, in their session at the time, they did what was called the contribution-based benefit cap legislation. And what this does is to control the practice of what they call pension spiking. And so the contribution benefits cap approach was created to protect each system for current and future retirees to prevent all employees in the retirement system from absorbing additional liabilities caused by pension decisions made by other employers. This legislation applies to members who retire on or after January 1st, 2015 with an average final compensation of $100,000 or more. It says it will directly impact only a small number of those individuals, requires the member's last employer to pay the additional contribution required to fund the member's benefit in excess of the cap. So basically, if we were to have an employee who retires and their last 4 years average salary exceeds $100,000, then the state does a calculation and will only pay up to a certain amount. And
Of what the retirement is. Of what the retirement.
that's right, what their retirement is. You'll notice on the second page of that letter, about halfway, it says for those employees hired on or after January 1st, 2015, the employer is not required to pay the additional contribution. But those that were hired prior to that date, the employer is required to pay that contribution. So what happens if we have an employee that started working for the county prior to January 1st, 2015, and they retire after that date, then if their benefit, if their average salary is $100,000 or more, then the county would have to decide whether or not it's going to pay the difference. If that employee, if that person was employed with the county before then, they have to pay it regardless. They will send us a notice whenever we have an employee that is eligible to retire and within some range of that $100,000 cap. Right now, we do have an employee that is within that range. They're not retired, not planning to retire, as that I've been told, but currently their average salary does not exceed $100,000 limit. Wanted you to be aware of this. If and when at some point we do have an employee, as you would imagine, this would be a very rare occurrence for us and most county organizations. And if this person started work after January 1st, 2015, you would have a decision to make as to whether or not you're going to pay that difference. If they started working prior to that, we have to pay that difference. So when it comes to the point we have an employee that goes to retire and they trigger this, we'll have to bring this back.
So the employee we got now, we would have to pay.
The employee we have right now does not exceed the cap.
But if they got above it, we would have to pay.
Yes, sir.
Because they were hired for that time.
If their average salary, last 4 years average salary.
Do you think we need to go ahead and set a policy on that? I don't think we need to do it individually, okay? In terms of looking at it every time a person comes up, because we tend to discriminate on how we do that, okay? So, how does the board got involved on how we need to do that?
I agree with you.
I wouldn't even think about it.
Huh?
I say I would like to think about it, run the numbers, see what we're really talking about.
But even in running those numbers, we can think about it. We need a policy, and I think we need it before it comes up. Okay, we've had an issue where we try to deal with stuff. I don't know if it's kind of too late. Okay.
Make sure you're about fair.
And if you were looking for a recommendation from me, it would be my recommendation that you do for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think for any employee of ours that would exceed that, we would not exceed it by much. Really, this was set in place, because this includes state agencies, some of which may pay a lot more than, county employees would get paid, even higher paid county employees.
Is that, we would have to pay that each year? That would be.
You would have to pay it on a lump sum upfront when that retire.
Well, so that would be figured on. How do you figure the lump sum in terms of, we don't know how long they're going to live?
That's right. It's a pretty complex calculation. It looks at how long they worked, what their last average salary was, their age at retirement, and there's a calculation. It also compares what they have contributed into the retirement system and looks at the difference between
Well,
the
so they
seven.
can run us an example.
Yeah, I recommend the budget committee to look at it.
Well, okay, since we got it on the table here, okay? I'm gonna have some input on what the place we did look at. And that is, we need to look at an example of the cost on what a retired men would look like. Okay, we have that whatever it is, but I like to see it on those.
Yeah, as well, how many employees do we currently have that within the next 10 years with a 2% annual cost of living increase would reach that, and what would that payout be for an additional 20 years after retirement? We need to have some numbers instead of just yay or nay.
Sure, we got it.
Any other thoughts? Anything else on your report?
The only other thing that's not actually listed under my report, I do want to let you know, of course, I'm sure you've heard, there is a currently a tropical storm Elsa. Previously a hurricane, currently a tropical storm. Latest projection, they believe it may bump back up and cross back over the threshold to be a hurricane before it makes landfall somewhere southern end of breaking news. It's back up to a Category 1 hurricane now. So still, the projection is by the time, and the path does include, right now, does include North Carolina. They're expecting the path of it by the time it gets to us, probably sometime Thursday morning, it to be a tropical depression. Now, it depends on how far west or east it goes as to how much rain. Right now, they're thinking somewhere between 1 inch and 3 inches, which, as long as we don't get all of that in an hour or two, we should be okay. But it's still a threat worth us monitoring, and that's what we've been doing. We'll continue to do. I have, I think, previously sent you all an update on that, and we'll send another sometime tomorrow. And that's it for me.
Commissioner reports, second commissioners. Hearing none, is that attorney?
Yes, sir.
Now, closed session will be what, Mr. Edwards?
You have on your agenda economic development. You just got an update on the 21st. There's nothing new, so we won't go into closed session for economic development. But I do recommend that you go into closed session for a legal matter based on North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3.
Second.
Question?
I have it now.
Is that number right? He was struggling there, okay? We got a motion, second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let me know by vote, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll be going to closed session, sir.